Ajay, before me, just spoke about the printing press founded in the 1400s. From the advent of the print to the evolution of radio to the evolution of television, subsequently digital and social media. Media has evolved in many ways, in many manifestations. You have to understand that, and the reason I speak of it is to understand how media has changed and how you have to integrate with it, how do you engage with it. I'll give you an example. A lot of people read newspapers still, and when you read a newspaper, the human brain is configured to read from left to right, not the other way around. And there's a sensibility to that. You read from left to right, you scan the paper, you read a headline, you read a byline, and then you make up your mind whether you want to read an article or not. And after reading that article, you make up your mind whether you agree with it or not. Now, in the world of AI, as speakers before me were talking about it, that's an option which does not exist. Because the algorithms and the machine learning will only regurgitate whatever you want to go, whatever you want to read, whatever you want to engage with. So, from a medium which allowed you to read, form an opinion, make up your mind about it, you move to another medium where you are not just a seeker, but you are being told what to learn. You have to understand it because it's a very intrinsical manner in which technology has changed and affected us, how we consume content, data, how we analyze, and how we evolve. We used to react reading a story or watching a video. Now we are seekers and we are proactive about it. And that's a very big change. Because we don't get an alternative opinion. Because we don't get the other side of the story. Or we don't even the right to disagree is also snatched away because you are not even reading. So how do you know whether you agree or disagree with it? That is a very fundamental premise and a very good example of how media is changing. You know, most of the people younger than me today are getting the latest from WhatsApp and Instagram. Social media began as such a wonderful thing. We could all have presence. We could all be instantly connected to everyone. A revolution, a people's movement for sure. That's how we coined it. But then we realized that with the infinite scroll, 60-second clips, the YouTube shorts, all of that is not enough. And we need a new revolution. A new world is upon us. A new generation that needs to reinvent the next. I'm a believer in the next. I'm a believer in technology. I'm a believer in the future that is yet unknown. It's exciting, it's inevitable, it's almost unimaginable. So what is next in media? What is the future? The answer to the question is not AI, not machine learning, not algorithms. Deciding what you can watch or will watch, what goes viral, what doesn't, what tends and what doesn't. From the trillion-dollar companies which control how we consume content, I'll quote you a fact. 89% of the world's search engines are monopolized by Google. Through your smartphones and all other devices that we use to seek information, 89% in the world are, I repeat, are monopolized by Google, and they spend $10 billion a year to monopolize and maintain that monopoly. But what is missing is the enigmatic depth of perspective that only humans are capable of. Like sir, like General Ajay, I also asked GPT to write me a portion of the speech. This is what it churned out, and I quote, on the topic I'm speaking. The media landscape in India is rapidly evolving with new technologies and platforms emerging every day The youth of India must be prepared to navigate this ever-changing landscape and use it to their advantage. They must be aware of the power of social media and how it can be used to influence public opinion. Unquote. The language is fine. It sounds okay. It sounds human. But like good special effects in a movie, that's all it is. Almost but not quite. Imitating the real, but doomed to be unreal. ChatGPT doesn't know me, what I wanted to say or what I should say. It wants to tell me to stop thinking. It wants me to spew out words that may mean something or may mean nothing. It wants to reduce the human imagination to a reassembled jigsaw of what was said or written way before. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the Amrit Kal is upon us. This is the Bharatiya Punarjagran, the Indian Renaissance. Think of the Dark Ages in Europe. They ended with a classical revival, the rediscovery of philosophy, roots and arts that led to Michelangelo's and Da Vinci's. The Da Vinci's led to the Newtons. The Newtons led to a hunger for science, and the science to the Industrial Revolution. A new Bharat is being born. The Bharat is rediscovering its civilizational heritage. The Bharat is landing on the moon. This Bharat is understanding that perhaps it held the answers to all age-old problems of humanity all along. There is no sovereign entity in the world that is as diverse as we are. Never in the history of humankind have so many young people been in one place at one time. It will never happen again. The future of media is then simply telling stories. The stories that define our age, the stories that define the Amrit Kal, the stories that define the Bharatiya Punarjagran. The stories of people who build rockets, the stories of people who build roofs, the stories of people who make rotis. The future of media is you, the youth of the country. With more than 65% of our country's population under the age of 35, we are the youngest country in the world. And I must take this opportunity, to tell you that you are the future, you are the change. Like Sir said, change is the only constant. But you have to be the change you want to see in the world. And that has to be understood, that technology, while it's an enabler, it's ultimately the youth of the country that are the agents of change. And the humane aspect is what keeps us different from artificial intelligence, from technology. While we are to use technology to our advantage, we are not to become subservient to it as far as media is concerned. I want to take this opportunity, a lot of my friends asked me, is media dead? Are news channels dead? Is media going to be relevant in future? I often tell them that the nature of the medium is such that the immediacy and urgency of news, by its true nature, cannot die. No matter what the platform is, no matter in what manifestation it comes out, no matter how you reach, whether you reach through a television box, you reach through a live OTT streaming, or you reach through social media. Any of these mediums, these are just evolutionary platforms which are changing. But what doesn't change is the essence of news. That is the most important thing. I'll give you another example. Recently, during the COVID pandemic, when for the first time in I think hundreds of years, the newspaper industry went through a flux where for almost 3 months, no newspapers were printed. And there was suddenly a very big gap on information. We had not seen, at least not in my lifetime, fortunately, unfortunately, we had not seen anything like that. And we were confronted with a problem of fake news, of fake narratives that were propagated by social media. Now, that is a time where the entire world was wanting to know what's happening, what is correct, what is true, and how do we actually use the media to our advantage. We at ITV Network use that opportunity to take the OPD on television, only so that we can help people by and large. This was a time where there were a lot of narratives floating, a lot of misinformation floating. People didn't know what to consume. They didn't know how to consume, what was right, what was not. And that is where the credibility and the humane aspect comes in. The credibility of, you can call it traditional media, you can call it media which has roots, a system of checks and balances, a system which works, which just does not put out whatever comes to your mind, or what people call the WhatsApp university. So, I really would like to encourage you. Like I said earlier, the future of media is you, the future of stories. So go out, write them, tell them, tell them to your friends and family, tell them to the world, become the change you want to see, leverage the algorithms and the machines, but bask in the glory that is to be human. Bask in the wonder that is to be alive during India's new golden age. May good vibes and good energy follow you and emanate throughout your life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kartikeya ji, but I would request you to please come back to the stage. We cannot let you go without expressing our sincere appreciation, and how wisely did he contextualize for us that no matter the amount of AI revolutions that you may see, what is essentially human and humane will survive, and not just to survive, it will thrive. Kartikeya ji, thank you for that beautiful keynote speech. And on that note, I would like to invite on stage Honorable CMD, Mansarovar Group, Mrs. Manjula Tiwari ji, to kindly present a small token of gratitude on our behalf to Kartikeya ji. Namaskar, ma'am. Thank you so much. And on that note, we will move towards the next panel, the third panel discussion for the day, which is titled Soulful Creations Nurturing Wellness and Spirituality Through Content. For this particular panel, I would like to invite on stage all of our esteemed speakers, Arun Kumar Tiwari ji, Bhaskar Indrakanti ji, Acharya Pankaj, and Akshat Gupta. Can we have all of our esteemed panelists with us here on the stage? We will need one more chair. And along with all of our panelists, may I also invite on stage Gaurav Tiwari ji, who shall be the dynamic moderator for this session. Let's fill these silences with our applause. Yes. I would now like to take a moment to introduce all of our panelists to you. I will begin by introducing Arun Tiwari ji, who is a distinguished expert in the field of astrology, palmistry and numerology. With a remarkable legacy spanning 48 years, he has conducted over 50,000 consultations, providing profound insights and guidance to individuals seeking clarity and direction in their lives. Arun ji, welcome on the stage. Such an honor to have you with us. Moving on, I would like to introduce Bhaskar Indrakanti to all of you, who is a visionary leader thriving on challenging the status quo and fostering creativity in its most radical forms. As the founder of Orange Owl, he embodies the spirit of an educator, an entrepreneur, as well as a content creator. Absolutely the perfect fit for this panel. Bhaskar ji, welcome on the stage. So happy to have you with us. We also have with us Acharya Pankaj, who is a leading Vastu consultant and the founder of Vastu Shikhar. His expertise in Vastu Shastra has guided countless individuals in harmonizing their homes offices, factories and hotels with the principles of Vastu. And what is very interesting is that he is making all of these ancient sciences accessible to the masses under his own guidance by providing a comprehensive online audio-visual course. Acharya Pankaj, thank you for being with us on the panel today. And our last panelist is Akshat Gupta, who is known for his nationally best-selling books and captivating TEDx talks, and who is a shining star in the Indian literary and film industry. His Hidden Hindu series, with over 1 lakh copies sold, has earned him a well-deserved place in the literary world. Beyond his success as an author, Akshat's talents extend to screenwriting and dialogue writing in the Indian film industry. Akshat, welcome on the stage and welcome to the Udan Conclave. And I cannot miss out on our moderator, Gaurav Tiwari, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Mansarovar Global University, and this university has also been instrumental in getting together this entire conclave, aside from being an education